Yes, I'm Allison Arngrim. It's the Allison Arngrim Show, and I'm Allison Arngrim. Some of you may know me as Evil Nellie Olson, but tonight I'm Allison Arngrim. And here on the Allison Arngrim Show, we talk about things that make you feel good. The movies and the TV shows that made us feel good and the people who made them. And people who are doing things now to make the world a better and more interesting place. And I always love it. You know, I love it when I have on someone I know. And so I do again, and I'm excited. And I talked about it this afternoon. So, you know, yes, former baby witch. Yes, TV hostess, very successful actress and TV hostess, super mom, businesswoman, and yes, my beautiful wife for like 5.5 minutes, the amazing Erin Murphy. Yay! Applause noise. Yeah. Hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Great to see you.
Fine. You look, I mean, okay, you look fabulous. We were just talking about this, and everyone who's watching now is going, ooh, yes, she does. She looks amazing. You do these selfies on Instagram where you're just in the car going, and they look the same. I mean, over a period of years, they don't actually change because you somehow are completely ageless and you look great. And you said you're just like checking your makeup and figured why not? But there's now a whole series of, and you call them seatbelt selfies.
I started it years and years ago because when I would go to an event, I wanted to check my makeup before, you know, you're photographed. So I started taking pictures of my makeup to make sure I didn't need to fix anything. And I posted one on either Facebook or Instagram, and it got more likes than anything I'd ever posted. I was like, it's just my face. So you got to give the people what they want.
But it's cool. Like you're in the car, the seatbelt, and people are looking at the backgrounds going, where is she now? And you're always like, and you look fabulous and all, and you put them all together and go, you know, she looks completely the same. And so I think we need a coffee table book of seatbelt selfies of you just looking fabulous through this series of photos.
See, I think people already think I'm narcissistic and self-centered because literally my entire feed is my face. So I don't know.
You're insanely modest, which is amazing because you have done so much. You are, again, as we always say, one of these successful ex-child stars. You rather enjoyed being a child actor and everything that's come from it. You had a pretty darn good time. Of course, you were on a great show because you were Tabitha. Oh my God, you were so good. I can't stand it. So you were on Bewitched and you liked it. This is true.
I did. I loved it. It was fun. It was a great place to grow up. I worked with amazing actors. I always had like animals and cool things on the set. And, you know, it's led to great experiences in my life. I mean, I've traveled the world. I've done all kinds of really cool things because I was on Bewitched. So yeah, it was good for me. I loved it.
And you are from a set of twins. There is a twin sister. And like, okay, we explain to people all the time how on these TV shows, when they have a little tiny person, they usually have twins because they can only work so many hours and they get tired, so they can switch them out. And initially they hired this adorable little set of twins to be Tabitha on Bewitched. And then time kept going on and on and on. You're getting older, like, I think maybe we're only going to do one of you. So you have a fabulous twin sister who I have met, who is also a completely fabulous person in her own right, but is not like popping up all over our Instagram, so we don't see her as much. Well, do tell.
Yeah, Diane and I are fraternal twins. So even when we were hired for the part, we didn't look that much alike. So we were really used kind of interchangeably for the first year. But during that time, they'd show my sister from the back or from a distance, and they would always show my face. So after the first year, I kind of took over the part, and she didn't play Tabitha anymore. So I did play her for the run of the show.
That's right. You weren't identical, and you just wound up growing up like she's growing up to look like Elizabeth Montgomery. Wait, okay, duh. I guess this is the daughter.
Well, Diane used to cry when they'd bring her on set. TV's not for everybody. I mean, there's lights and action and all that, and not everybody loves that. And my sister, they'd bring her on and she would cry, and I loved it. So what they would do, they totally broke every child labor law known to the entertainment industry. They would say, okay, Erin's been on for enough time. It's time to bring Diane on. So they would bring me off set, and then they would bring me back on set. So yeah.
And they figured what the welfare worker would go, it's twins. They look alike. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Well, but that's the thing. When we were talking about child actors, and in your case, I had a good time. I certainly parlayed my being a child actor into a whole bunch of stuff, as you have. So it's worked out. But it's a personality thing, and not everyone has the personality to be in show business, or heaven forbid, a child actor. And that's where I'm always cautioning people, go, yeah, put my kid in show business. Maybe, maybe not. It is a very distinct personality, and millions of people simply do not have that particular personality that they're going to enjoy that at all. There's many people, you drag them down to a set with all those people and the cameras and the lights, they're like, no.
I totally lost your volume. Allison, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Now I can't hear you. That's really weird. No, it says I have sound. I don't know why I can't.
It's turned all the way. Now I can.
No, it's totally fine. That was really weird. Every now and then things just happen and the sound just goes away, or the picture or whatever. It's a technology. It's lovely. But yeah, you had the personality. You responded to that. You didn't mind a big building full of people and a bunch of lights. This did not bug you as a kid.
Well, and it's a lot of sitting around. I think even teenagers and adults, they have these dreams of being actors, and they don't realize that 90% of the time you're sitting around in between the scenes. They think, I'm going to get out there and act all day. But do you agree? It's so much setting up lights, I mean, a lot of downtime on a TV set.
Well, as we say, it's the hurry up and wait. It's like, quick, get to the set, and they hurry. We got to get you a makeup, and we got to get you the clothes, and then park yourself for 6 hours. Mm-hmm. And so it's the hurry up and wait. And like on Little House on location, people made things. A lot of the mothers, Afghans, so many Afghans were crocheted during the filming of Little House, arts and crafts projects.
Yeah, not when I was a kid, but I used to knit on set. Agnes Moorehead was a knitter. So as I got older, I knit on sets too.
It's a quiet hobby. And so you were on Bewitched, and obviously this was fabulous. Now, how old were you when the show ended, when you finally left?
8.
8, okay. So you were old enough to have had a relationship with these people, and how fabulous was Elizabeth Montgomery?
Yeah, she was what you wanted her to be. She was funny and smart and beautiful and kind of amazing. I mean, she was what you wanted her to be. She would not disappoint anyone who met her.
Okay. See, I like to do that. When I'm meeting fans and I go, well, they came a long way and they've watched the show all this time, I'm like, well, why, my father said, you don't disappoint. You did with you. It's like, sure, okay. So she did the thing, which is cool. Now, you had the weird thing that they changed Darren's. We joke about it all the time, but was it strange as a child actor that the guy who was dad is like, well, we got a different guy. Yeah. We have a new dude.
Yeah, it wasn't strange. Dick York had hurt his back early in his career on a film, and the last season that he was on the show, he was in so much pain that they had a special board set up for him on set that kind of leaned like that, and he would lean against it in between scenes, and he was in a lot of pain. So one day on set, he had a seizure. They took him away, and he never ever came back to set. So what they ended up having to do during the last season, I think they did 7 episodes without Darren, where they'd written the character into the show, and then he wasn't able to work. So in between the seasons where they were replacing Dick York with Dick Sargent, they showed those 7 episodes without Darren in a row. And then they somehow thought no one would notice, but of course noticed.
Yeah, everybody noticed it. That's weird. Well, it's a show about a woman who's a witch and her kid is making things fly, so it didn't work. But no, that makes sense. It's like the poor guy. It's like, okay, we need to get this guy to safety so he can heal up. Somebody else has to come in and do this. He's sick. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
They talked about different things they could do. There was a short time where they talked about having Endora change Darren's face to explain how it was a different character, but that didn't go over, so they didn't do that one.
But you can totally do that. You can turn him into a frog and turn him back and go, well, he changed slightly. And you could have gotten away with that. Now, I have to ask, because having watched a show when I was a little kid and completely loved it and sat around doing this, trying to get stuff to float around the room and make things happen, did you want to do magic? Did you hope that you could actually do magic at any point as a child?
I knew I couldn't do magic, and I think it was because of being on Bewitched. I mean, I saw everything that went into the magic we did, but of course I wish I could do magic in the real world. I think everyone does.
But that's right. So as a little kid, you're seeing all the stuff they're doing with the wires and poof, you're a frog and the actor walks away. So now that had to be interesting because at that age, as you said, 6, 7, 8 years old, a lot of kids don't know. They're still watching TV and going, wow, they, made that person fly. I guess they turned into maybe that happened. And as a little kid, you still believe stuff like that. But you're like a magician's assistant at this point. You literally know how all of this stuff is done and the tricks are done. So how was that strange when like other 7-year-olds were like, wow, people can fly. And you're like, nah, nah.
I never told them. I never gave away the secrets. Never, not once.
Wow. That's discipline. That is true discipline. That's like the magician's code. We're like, we're not going to tell them how we sawed the people in half. We're just not going to do it. That takes enormous discipline. I admire you because most 7-year-olds would have gone, it's not real, and ratted people out. So, as I said, you have managed to parlay this into a career. You wound up going and having a normal life. You went like back to school and did stuff, and you were actually a cheerleader. Now, you look like someone who was a cheerleader. I have to admit, I see you. I think cheerleader. So you were in fact actually a high school cheerleader.
I was actually a high school cheerleader, and I was homecoming queen, which sounds like
shut up. Oh God, I can't stand it.
Yes, we ended up moving down to Orange County. So 6th grade came, I graduated from Sherman Oaks Elementary School. So after Bewitched, I went back to regular school. I kept on auditioning and doing lots of commercials. And then after 6th grade, we moved down to Orange County. So I would come up if there was a guaranteed job, but I was just a normal kid. And somehow I never auditioned for Little House on the Prairie. When they everyone I know who's anywhere around our age auditioned. I auditioned for not one part. And some people, I think you did, some people audition for every part. Like,
I auditioned for everything. I read for everything but Mr. Edwards. I swear to you, I auditioned for everything, and I do. I know all these people. I mean, you could have had the Katie Kurtzman part and been the little stuttering girl that I tormented. I could have beaten you up several times on the show.
No, never once, never auditioned. Although I just found this out the other day. I don't know how I didn't remember this. Your TV dad was on Bewitched with me.
He was a pilgrim. It was during that whole, let's go back and bring back the pilgrims and stuff. Yes. And they're in the hat. He was John
Alton? Was he John Alton?
They went back and they did the whole the early pilgrim thing. Yes, Richard Bull.
I was in that episode. Yeah, I didn't remember, and someone posted a photo. I don't know if it was his birthday or something the other day. Someone posted a photo, and I thought, I didn't remember that. So,
because he worked like crazy. I mean, he was a great character actor. He was on a bunch of shows. He was on he was like on Voice Bottom of the Sea. There was a series called Nickel that he was on that for like 2 seasons. So he was a regular. So he worked like mad before Little House and after. He was just everything. So it's like every time he turned around. I mean, it's everyone who's on Little House also was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. The number of Little House people who are in episodes of The Twilight Zone is awesome. Because like, oh look, it's Star Baker. Oh, it's the reference. So yeah, he worked a lot, and he got a lot of great character parts where he got to wear like pilgrim hats and crazy stuff like that. He loves stuff like that. So so you have a prairie connection, because there you go. You have your one. So you had a normal life, and then you've gone on to be this hostess commentator where you're on TV all the time. You get to do these things, the red carpets, you're the hostess, you interview people. How did you launch that whole career? Because that's gone really well.
Yeah, luckily it's gone very well. But it started when my kids were younger. And I love this business. I always think, well, what could I do? What's my dream job? And everything kind of pulls me back more towards TV than film, because that's where I come from. But I was trying to think of a job that I could do and still be a mom and still take the kids to school and be there when they get home. And I just kind of fell into it. I ended up working for the Fox reality channel where as a correspondent, and I did like talked about the week in TV, and then I got called into other networks to do things, and I just felt very lucky to be able to do that and still be a parent, because, you know.
Well, because you have a lot of children. When I was talking about this afternoon during my reading, he said, Erin's coming on the show today. She has so many children. You can't believe how many children this woman has. Where does she put them all? Kids. How do you have 6 kids? I mean, they're grown up, some of them, but how in the world? I mean, you have 6 children, for heaven's sake.
I do. I know it sounds crazy when I say it. And especially when I meet new people and they say, do you have any kids? You know, it comes up in conversation, and I just say I do. And then it always, well, how many? And when I say 6, I apologize for it. I don't know why.
How many do you have? I have a small baseball team. You 6 children. Now they're old. I mean, gosh, what? Good Lord, what's the oldest one?
The youngest is 19, so I have 6 boys. So yeah, they're grown ups. I mean, the youngest is at 19, so they're getting big.
Wow. And yeah, and you've raised them all, and from what I understand, they're all lovely. I think I met one of them once, and yes, charming. They were all like they all from lovely people.
Yeah, you probably met a few of them, because I brought them. I see you all the time at the Hollywood Museum, so I brought some of them. Like when there's a like a Batman exhibit or something, I've brought them. So over the years.
6 kids. Yeah, everyone's like, how did you do that? So that's the other thing too. It's like,
that's
okay,
biology. That's, you know,
you look fabulous. Obviously, you know, we as we said, the show was in black and white. We know it was a long time ago. Hello. So here we all are. I know how old I am. You have 6 kids. You've had multiple careers.
I know.
Amazing. You look amazing. You are very pretty, but your skin, everything. You look. Everyone says, "How does she do that?" You really do look amazing. What is your health regimen? Why are you so fabulous?
I drink a lot of water. I eat whatever I want. I mean, I'm not vegetarian.
Okay, now we really hate you. Okay, fine.
Oh, no. But I also am active. Like I go hiking. I just don't just sit around. But no, I use skincare. I used to be a makeup artist, so maybe I'm just doing some tricks. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Because one of your 800 careers is makeup artist and fashion stylist. So that's got to help. But yeah, you drink. You are sporty, as they say. You're always out doing things and hiking and doing sporty things. See, you're getting a lot of exercise. You're drinking a lot of water. It's good moisturizer.
It's all about moderation. I always tell people, because I don't believe in, for me at least, I don't believe in depriving myself of something I want to eat. I wouldn't do well if I've done different diets, because it's kind of a trendy thing to do. But my thing is, if you want something sweet to eat something sweet. So what I've said for years is, have a cupcake, not a whole cake, and you're good, you know?
Right. Okay. There you go. Yeah. No, it's like if you had to be like completely vegan, gluten-free, etc., everything, you'd go out of your mind. Yeah.
I've tried those, because I have a great group of friends, and you know, we will work out together and do things. And sometimes someone will say, "Hey, do you want to go on this diet with me?" And it'll be like a cleanse or a keto, and I'm a supportive friend, so I'll try things. But yeah, it's not for me. At least I know people do what works for them. For me, I can't imagine maintaining something like that, because I do like to go to nice restaurants and cook and eat what I want to eat. I just got back from New Jersey, and I was eating fried pickles and cotton candy. So
okay, I'm gonna go sit to exercise, lots of water, good moisturizer, and yes, in let me see, the 10,000 jobs: casting director, makeup artist, fashion stylist, acting teacher, and stunt double. Is this ridiculous? Stunt double? Mm-hmm. How dangerous stunts, or just general
stuff? Probably dangerous stunts. I feel like I don't want to live in fear, so I don't. So if there's something, I'm not foolish. I'm very, aware of safety, but no, I kind of throw myself into life, and I'm someone who will, do you want to try surfing? Of course. Do you want to try so I'll try different things. So yes, I was a stunt double a couple times. Yes.
Did you have to do anything particularly crazy or dangerous? What did you do?
Oh gosh, some car stunts. I did driving a wagon with horses. That was, I guess, dangerous. But no, I mean, sometimes they'll bring me in. I did a film where I was Virginia Madsen's stunt double, and it was nothing crazy. I just had to drive a stick shift, and she didn't know how to drive a stick shift.
Okay,
But
simple things. And the wagon. See, you could have been a Little House on the Prairie because you know how to drive a wagon. I don't even know how to drive a wagon. I was there for 7 years. So you have I did see that there was also a job you had involving Hulk Hogan wrestling. There was a wrestling series and something about Mistress of Mayhem. I saw that credit and I actually questioned if this was an urban myth or if this was a real thing you did.
Yes, it does sound like an urban legend, but it's true. It was during the time I was contacted, I think the first season of Dancing with the Stars, and I was pregnant. So, and then they never contacted me again. So that it's like, you say you can't, never contact me again. But I got a call from my agent who said, we have an offer for you. So it wasn't an audition. We have an offer for a series, and it's like Dancing with the Stars, is how it was presented to me.
Sure, that sounds great. Yeah, something athletic. I'll be right over.
And also, it was something called, I don't know if people outside of acting know Favored Nations, which is where everyone receives the same paycheck. So I would be paid the same as who all the other actors on the show. And so then I said, sounds great. And then he said, but it's wrestling. I said, okay. And he said, it's Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. And I said, okay. And it turns out they had offered it to a lot of people. And the network, which was CMT, the network loved me. I don't know if they've seen me in something or seen they loved me. The network wanted me. The producers, who were Jason Hervey from the Wonder Years, and Eric Bischoff, who's a very famous wrestling guy, wrestlers would know who he is. They didn't want me. They wanted any deal or no deal Suitcase Girl. Any one of them would have been preferable to me.
They wanted the young hot chick, but you're like as athletic and good look. I mean, that's a thing.
And it wasn't
athletic.
It wasn't when I was in my 50s. It was 2008. So I mean, I was probably in my 40s, but and
passing for 19. So who cares?
Yeah, no, but it was fun. It was crazy. It was one of my wrestling partners was Dennis Rodman. They're putting up a photo now. So it was Dennis Rodman. There's me, Dustin Diamond, who was Screech on Saved by the Bell, Nikki Ziering, Frank Stallone, Tiffany, the singer Tiffany, Todd Bridges,
and Frank Stallone, and Dennis Rodman.
Danny Bonaducci, Butterbean, who's a professional boxer, and Trishelle, who was on The Real World. So the premise of the show is that they had two teams, and we each were assigned a professional wrestler as our coach. And every 3 days, we would learn 3 moves. We would have to choreograph a wrestling match, and we would have to perform the match in front of a live audience. It was like a wrestling arena. So
it's like Dancing with the Stars, except you're going to wrestle. We'll teach you this new wrestling move, like a dance. And
they would have us do things like which luckily I was great at this part. They would have us do things that people were terrified of, like jumping off this tall thing onto one of those bags. I'm like, this is easy. So we'd jump off those. And I was so convinced, because it was true, that they weren't really taking me seriously. So I took it very, very seriously. So the wrestlers all were impressed by my work ethic. Dennis Rodman was my biggest cheerleader on the thing, because I went in saying, okay, this is out of my comfort zone. People were bruised and injuries all over the place. But I asked for harder moves. So I jumped off a turnbuckle, which is like the corner of the wrestling ring, jumped off of it and did a flying crossbody and knocked down Dustin Diamond. So, if you're going to do it, do it.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I think, okay, this is why you look fabulous, such good shape, because you're willing to leap off a turnbuckle and slam into dust and diamond. This is this kind of approach to life. Like now, I've been talking about, Melissa. We had Melissa Gilbert on last week, and she's up in upstate New York with the chickens. She's got the chickens and the crops, and she's embracing nature. You used to have, was alpacas?
Yes, I used to actually 3 times in my life. I've had ranches. I had horses, alpacas, goats, chickens, peacocks. I had everything, and I loved it. I mean, I really did. It was amazing. But then, as the kids got older, they kind of wanted to live in a neighborhood. I mean, we were in neighborhoods, but it wasn't the kind where you could go out front and kick a ball around in the street.
When they're little, they're like, "Oh, I can run around in nature," and there's alpacas. And then they grow up and they go, "I want to go to the store."
Yeah. I mean, we were only a few miles away, but you know what I mean? They're different kinds of neighborhoods. So I loved it. I miss it sometimes. Like I do miss having my own eggs. So Melissa and I are going to talk about that next weekend. But it was a fun part of my life. But most of the stuff I did myself. Like I was the one who woke up at 6 and fed all the horses and all the animals, and it was a lot of work. So I'm enjoying the beach now.
Well, you can absolutely be comparing notes, because this weekend, this Friday and Saturday, we're all going to be in Burbank together, because the big Burbank Marriott's the Hollywood show they have in Burbank, and yes. I've been plugging it all week, and half the prairie is coming. Like half the prairie is coming. Pat Flaberto and Melissa Gilbert and Kenny Lester, and you're going to be there. It's just that you're going to be there, so you're going to get to hang with us, and you and Melissa can talk about chickens.
That's right. I have to say, when you have chickens, there's something, and I know there are people who don't want to eat chickens and they think it's somehow cruel to a chicken to eat their eggs. A hen lays eggs, whether you eat them or not. So my chickens were like pets. They would wander around the yard, and they're going to lay eggs no matter what. So it doesn't hurt a chicken to eat their eggs.
It's good to know. And I do like eggs, and I do also occasionally eat chickens. As I said, small birds and fish I could kill with my bare hands in the wild. I know, small animals, only the tiny animals and the big animals.
I never ate my chickens. I should put it out there. I never ate that chicken.
I have a friend who has chickens, and she does. She's like, nope, can't eat the chickens. I can't. They're my chickens. I might eat their egg. I can't eat the chickens. But like the raising of chickens, I couldn't do it. That's why I'm so amazed when people say, I got a goat, or I got an alpaca, I got chickens. I'm like, I can just barely handle the cats.
Yeah. You would actually, the chicken part is fun, because I did have a rooster. So some eggs you can hatch. So you can hatch them, and then you raise them, and they love you. So they're actually very sweet. I grew up not liking chickens, because when I would go ride horses, the chickens would come running out and like peck at my feet. But then when you have chickens, they don't do that. They're just very friendly.
Oh, so they're sweet little things. Okay, I could probably get into chickens, because that's what Melissa said. She said, well, I said cleaning up after chicken. She said, do you change cat litter? Do you change cat litter? And I'm like, I do. She's like, okay. Like,
wait, you change your cat litter, don't you? Who changes your cat litter?
I change cat litter. My husband changes the cat litter. Although I change the cat litter, he's like, we finally, his back was hurting. And so it's like, okay, you change it and I'll carry the bags out. But yes, we change cat litter. I have changed many a kitty litter. He's changed 1,000 cat litters. We have 2 cats. So I said, oh yeah. She goes, you change cat litter? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, then you could totally take care of chickens. It's not any worse than taking care of cats and scooping. If you can deal with the kitty litter, you can deal with the chicken. So alpacas, I suppose, is a bit more work.
Yes, it's a bit. Although when I had the alpacas, I actually did have someone who would scoop up after the alpacas. But I don't know how much your listeners want to hear this, but alpaca poop is the world's perfect. It's the world's perfect fertilizer. Since it's one of the things it's one of the few manures that you don't have to do anything to in order to use it as fertilizer. You can put it directly in your garden, and they call it black gold. But
that's important to know. Black gold. That's important to know for people who are doing the home farming thing and getting animals and saying, well, I need like good for an alpaca. You don't even have to do anything to the fertilizer.
Yes.
Okay, but this is brilliant. See, the thing you do, your brother, I said we do have to talk about the slimmer chillers, yes.
Or
slim chillers, as I call them, boosicles. But I have tried them, and they're delightful.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's a company I got involved with. I guess I'll say organically, at one of those gifting suites that actors get invited to where they give you products to try.
Yep.
They gave me products to try. I like them very much. They take photos of the actors with the products, and they ended up wanting to use me on the side of a truck and billboards and things like that. So I negotiated my partnership with the company.
You want to put my picture on the side of the truck? We could do that. And ta-da! You wound up, promoting this. That they're great. They're great. They're an alcoholic little beverage thing, but like a vodka cocktail.
Like Otter Pops. They're like Otter Pops for grown-ups.
And then they're like you can find them. There's
Yeah.
like a cosmopolitan sort of flavor and a lemony one, and you stick them in the freezer, and it's like having a lemon drop or a Cosmo, except it's like a little Otter Poppy thing.
Yes, they're perfect by the pool. They're great. And you can get them at lots of places now, like Bevmo. You can get them online, Costco. There are a lot of different places that have them. I think Walmart has them.
And they're good. I thought, what the heck are these things? And they got them, Bob, and I'm going, wait, these are great.
I think I gave them to you. Remember,
we totally did a surprise attack. We wanted to come see you. You were like, because you had a special meeting at the Bevmo, and we showed up. We were like,
that was
fun.
Yeah, there I was standing by a billboard of me.
And we're like,
my friend. That was great.
We just thought it was cool. And so we enjoyed those. Now, we amazingly, like I said, in your 10,000 billion jobs, oddly, we played a married couple for very briefly. There was this crazy show called Life Interrupted. And it was this fabulous little web series, and of all people in the world, Mason Reese, and people at home going, Mason Reese, yes, Mason Reese, that Underwood deviled ham. It's a Borgesmod, that little kid with the face. And so he's a grown-up person now and very funny, and he wanted to do a show, wanted to do a thing. So next thing you know, I'm playing his ex-wife. And so Stephen Wishnoff wrote this crazy show, and Dawn Wells played my mom. Oh, there's a fabulous picture. Dawn Wells runs the bar, and she plays my mother. And then you're in it. And Michael Learned is your mom with Michael Learned, which is so cool. And all these cool people are in it. And the thing is, I'm now his ex-wife, and I've remarried, but I've married a woman played by you, which is hilarious because it's like, oh, and now and here's my beautiful wife. And you were just stunning. And we were just the cutest darn couple.
We were. And I actually did it because you asked me to. It was at a time in my life. I've said more no's in this business than I think anyone. So every time we go to an autograph signing or go somewhere, someone will come up to you with an idea like, oh, I've got a script you'd be perfect for. And I just smile and nod. But at a party, you came up to me, and I think with Steve Wishnoff maybe, and you said, I want you to be my wife in this. And I said, okay. It sounded fun.
Well, then it's like, here's the lineup. Okay, we got Dawn Wells. We got that. You're like, that sounds good. Okay. But it was the same thing. It was like the wrestling show. Well, I've never done that before. And so next thing you know, and it was so cute, just so darn cute. And we had so much fun doing this. And the press was wonderfully funny because in France, certain American shows get over to France and are hugely popular, and others just like they've never watched the Waltons. You go to France, you would think they would love the Waltons. I know, right? Little House on the Prairie is ginormous in France. They're obsessed.
And so's Bewitched.
And so is Bewitched. Now I asked them, I said, don't you watch the Waltons? Because everybody in America watched the Waltons. They said, no, it ran for like 6 months, and they went, Little House, they cannot get enough of it. Or as I said, if you're walking through the park with 3 French people and you pass a meadow, one of them will scream, I am baby Carrie, and run and fall down. That's with Little House. And Bewitched, there are certain shows there were, and so there were actually articles in the French paper that said, Tabitha et Nelly d'un gay mariage.
No, really?
We got huge like French press out of doing that show. So it was fabulous. I was like on talk shows, and they had like your picture up like 10 feet high behind me on the talk show going, yes, so you are married now to Tabitha. And I'd like, it's only on TV, but yes, she is a marvelous woman. So yeah, we had so much fun with that. It was just a hoot and a holler.
I said yes because, like you, I've been a lifelong LGBTQ supporter, and my sister is married to a woman. So when given the opportunity, I thought absolutely.
Right. So it was great. I was like, oh wait, I can represent. Okay. So yeah. And it was a funny show. And as I said, and Michael was so fabulous, and Dawn and everybody. So we had a really good time doing it. And it is still out there. If you go onto your YouTube out there, you can still click on it and see we're a hoot and a holler. So yeah, you are so clever. And we're talking about your kids, and you do so many things for charity. One of your sons is autistic, and you've done a great deal for the various autism charities.
Yes, yes. I've my whole life I've been involved with different organizations and causes, and I've always said it's important, no matter what you do, to choose something that's near and dear to your heart and support it any way you can. So growing up and as a young adult, I always supported animal charities and children's charities. And then my son Parker was diagnosed with autism, and it did cause me to focus a little more on that. So I threw myself into it, and I'm just a few days ago I played in Ed Asner's celebrity poker tournament for the Asner Family Center, which is a center for children and adults with special needs. So yeah, it's something that is close to my heart, and I'm happy I can kind of put my face out there and do some good.
See, that's what I like. I've always said that all of us who are on TV were given this like free gift where we're famous enough, we can do something for the charity. I've always said, like, some of the reality stars I see who aren't doing anything. I said, any one of them could say, adopt a puppy, plant a tree, and think how many help. I mean, just anything at all. And it's so wonderful when we have this, where we have a chance to say, hey, here's this thing for abused children. Here's this thing for people dealing with autism. Here's this thing for clean water, anything, and we're able to do that. And it's such a nice feeling when it is something, in our family.
Absolutely. And it's something that everyone has the ability to give the gift of time, even if it's just a small amount of time. I'm not saying people need to donate money, but I think it's important to find something that resonates with you and volunteer your time a little bit. So it's something I've raised all the kids doing. I mean, my youngest son, we used to go to the animal shelter every week when he was not in school and his older brothers were, and we would play in the kitten room, and we would, I've shown them that I've been, PTA president, classroom president. I volunteer at the schools for everything, and kind of showing them by example what it's like to give back. So when we lived down in Orange County, I was the president of the Junior Women's Club, and I started a kids version of that, where the kids would go with us and we'd clean up the beaches and, volunteer Meals on Wheels and all kinds of things. I think it's important to kind of keep that cycle of volunteerism moving forward, because if someone doesn't show you that, you may not even know about it. So I think it's important.
It's true. I started that only because, like, when I got a Little House, like, right away, you get invited to charity events, just sort of in general. Your publicist says, go here, go there, and you pop into the telethons or the Special Olympics or any of these more things. And you notice, like, some celebrities jump in and others are kind of like, oh, okay, I'll do this. Or, the ones who've done too many telethons and they go, which one is this March of Dimes? They can't remember which thing they're at. And then you have the others who absolutely go whole hog and get in there and really help. Like, Henry Winkler was always a great one. He would be reading, he'd be on a telethon, he'd be back in the green room sitting there with the executive director of the charity and their annual report going, now how much per dollar goes to, he'd like memorize their stuff and go out there. And I was like, there you go. And I would see all the, and I went to Special Olympics and I really liked it. And I wound up going the full Saturday and Sunday every year. And then I would go on Friday night. They have parties, the athletes, the kids had their own parties, and I would come to their parties and I would go to it. And I just did a bunch, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Some people are like, oh, how can you do it? I'm like, what? How can I not? And now over the years, I've done so many AIDS and child abuse and everything. But to me, it is natural to want to work with nonprofits and charities and causes, because why not? I have this great opportunity.
Yeah, and for me, I've participated as a celebrity, which I'll always put in quotes because it's silly to say. But as a celebrity, kind of volunteering my face and whatever.
Right.
But also with my son. I mean, we go and I'm there as a parent cheering on my son who's participating. So it's kind of great seeing organizations like that, which I do think is a wonderful one from every side.
And so you see, there you go. You are, and like when you talk about like, okay, yeah, and then I was on the committee for this, the committee for that, and the PTA, and it's like, again, 6 kids and on the golf committees and acting, and then, oh, I have to go wrestle with Hulk Hogan. And it's how on earth, how do you keep up your energy? Because you do have amazing energy. Every time I see you at anything, you're at everything, and you're always peppy.
Oh, thanks. I drink a lot of coffee. I sometimes,
friend.
yeah, no, I think it's one of those things is that you can decide how you feel. Like, of course, it's easy to wake up and sit on the couch and watch TV. So it's making the decision that, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go for a hike with my friends in the morning and that. So I've always kind of embraced the having energy thing.
And yes, I do like the coffee. I like a bit of coffee now and again. It does help
Coffee
indeed.
and sugar. That's all. Those are my vices.
I'm glad I'm not alone in that one. That's good. And you shouldn't say, worry about doing the Instagram thing. Like, oh, people think I'm narcissistic. You're not vain. That's the thing. You're like terribly modest.
It's so funny because I guess by appearances, people assume that I'm vain and self-obsessed, but I can get ready, like truly get ready, put on my makeup, be out the door in less time than anyone I know. I mean, I can come in and put on a face and a gown even and be out the door in less than 10 minutes. It's one of my skills.
Well, because I didn't do so many events. I'll be at an event and it's like, and then we have to like, there's 3 in one day, and I look and there she is at the next one, and she's changed. And it's like, I know there's things where you got a phone call like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. Do you want to come to this thing? It's at like 7. And you're like, I'll be right over. And
well, it's I don't know. I've always felt like this is life. Like, this is my life. I'm trying to do as much as I can. I want to go everywhere. I want to learn everything. So I've always been that way. And it's funny, just thinking about getting ready and going to events. I was in the car on my way to something. I don't know if it was a premiere, but it was something fancy. And I looked over to the pastures when I had the ranch, and I had to get out of my car, deliver a baby alpaca. Make sure all was well, brush myself off, put on a little powder, and drive away. So, and then I had a good story to tell. And I also once had Jane Fonda pull hay out of my hair on a red carpet.
Jane Fonda, what?
I was at an event. I think it was for the Emmys, but I'm not sure. But Jane Fonda was in front of me, and she pulled hay out of my hair. I just fed horses as I was leaving. I had on a gown and like mucky rubber boots, and I took off the boots in the car and put on like cute heels. But I guess I hadn't gotten the hay out of my hair.
Which of course must have looked adorable and is totally hysterical, and then gave Mr. But Jane Fonda had to pick hay out of your hair because you're busy birthing alpacas on the way to the red carpet. Now, see, this is why everyone bugs you and says you should write a book. As you said, you were just at an autograph thing, and everyone's like, book, because everyone has a book. But you really have stories. I mean, going out and jumping out of the car, birthing an alpaca, and then hitting the red carpet. This is not a thing people have in their lives.
I've been asked to write a book a lot of times. I was about to write a book maybe 10 years ago, but it was a business book. I always think, because my dad was very into business and investments and owned a business college in North Hollywood. So I was writing a business book about Kickstarter, and it was like Diary of a Kickstarter campaign. And then I got midway through it, and then I booked a job, and I was like, it's all right, I wouldn't do that. But
that's another thing you can write, another topic. It's like you're a walking series of TED Talks. It's like, which of these things could you give a TED Talk on? Alpacas, business. You are a, fabulous, as I say, businesswoman maven, but it's true. I mean, you looked at the things, some people just would have went, gee, this chiller pop with the vodka, and it's great. Oh, my face is on the truck, and it's just like on la la la, not like said, hey, I have an idea, let's talk, and turn that into a thing. You
Absolutely.
Think as a businesswoman, you do these things and you parlay things, and you are a brilliant businesswoman, and you would have fabulous tips and information and things you got from your father that you could write. Like, what's Susan Orman or whatever from the TV, like the guide to being a good business person. You could absolutely do that. That is totally a thing.
I'm always giving friends business tips because I'm obsessed with things like the stock market and investing and things that people wouldn't expect me to be obsessed with. But with the Slim Chillers, they made a decision that probably wasn't ethical, which started our business relationship, where they put me on the side of a truck. I think some people would have sued them and turned it into kind of an adversarial thing, but it was a
negative. Yep.
company. I loved the products, so I was able to negotiate a percentage of the company. Instead of taking down a company that was just starting, it turned into a partnership.
See, and that's how I think too. When people say, "Oh, are you going to sue?" I'm going to go, "No, I'm going to call them up and cash in. How do we? Let's get in on this action." And that's the smart way to do it. Do you just turn it into a negative, or do you say, "Well, now let's go talk to these nice people here with these Slim Dillas and Steve. What's going on?" And so, yeah, that's, you think like that. So you could write a guide to business. You could totally write a guide to alpaca husbandry and chicken raising. You could, if you wrote a book that was just a guide for mothers. I raised 6 boys successfully and without losing my mind. That, you'd have a bestseller right there. And then just all of your fabulous stories. I mean, obviously there are people sitting there going, "You could just sit and tell us about Elizabeth Montgomery for 5 hours." We'd all just sit there.
That's probably true. At the autograph show I just went to, it was so funny. I hadn't done one of those appearances signing autographs in years. It had been a while. So I, kind of jumped back in since I saw friends were there. I hadn't been on the East Coast in a few years. And one lovely couple saw on my Facebook page that I was going to be there, and they flew to Atlantic City. And then they told me how much they loved my book. "We love your book so much. It's our favorite of any of the kid actor books. We loved it." And I'm always honest. I said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't write a book." I said, "Maybe it was Alison Arngrim." They said, "Oh no, we love her book." "No, you wrote it." They were convinced I'd written a book and was somehow not admitting to it.
They dreamed this book. So they knew about my book, and they still, so this book of their imagination that they really, wow, I wonder whose it was, or did they just in fact have some fantasy of your book?
They weren't sure. They kept coming back by, because it was a 3-day convention. They kept coming back, apologizing for thinking I'd written a book, and then telling me maybe it was. And I said, and I kept naming people, and it seemed like I named everyone on Little House. Was it Melissa Gilbert? Was it Melissa Sue Anderson? They thought it might be, and now I can't remember.
Oh, was it Missy Francis? Maybe they thought maybe it was Missy Francis, because she's really smart about the business, the money. Right. So you're naming every child actor on the planet, and they're like, "Nope, that's not it."
It was you. It was your book.
So it's pre-sold. So that's what I mean. See, if you read it's already sold. People think that they've already bought it. How can you possibly go wrong? I would buy it. I would totally buy it. And yeah, and that's the thing. People worry about writing a book. They go, "Well, I don't know if I want to write a book because I have, I have a life. I have a personal life and a family, and I don't necessarily want to talk about every single thing." But you don't have to. And when you have the list of topics, like I said, you're walking a series of TED Talks here. You have so much. You could fill over 300 pages.
Oh, easily.
And have a sequel and still say, "Good, I didn't have to tell that story." So yeah, you wouldn't necessarily, and you don't have to dish dirt on people. I mean, like I said, I really like Melissa's latest book is great. It's so positive. It's just yes, and now I'm doing this, and this is what my life. It's completely upbeat. Yeah, so you can write that.
I loved her first book, and I don't know Melissa. Surprisingly, I don't know her. We're Facebook friends. We talk on Facebook. I'm going to see her next weekend. Her book, the first one, I'm sure you read it.
Fairy tale.
I love that it was all about that every man she ever met loved her and thought she was beautiful.
Well, that's the great thing, because when it's your book, you can go, yes, I am. That's good. Yeah, I can. And that's the thing. But that one was okay, I'm going to talk about the love life and how I got here. And then this one is yeah, whatever. So I'm in upstate New York now. I got a farm. It's and to hell with everybody. And I'm not doing Botox anymore. And this is what I look like. And I like it. And I'm going to go feed my chickens. I mean, it's fabulous. And so it's a whole other book. And I said, I like this one even better. But that's the thing, is you can write that book. You don't have to do the tell-all. You can say, here's a guide from others. Here's a guide to business. Here's a guide to alpacas. You could put out a series.
Or not. I could just enjoy my life.
Or not have to sit at the computer all day and simply go about your business. Mm-hmm. Which is also genius. But see, there you are. So you are brilliant. I mean, I keep telling people she's a genius. She's figured this all out. You have figured out to have this absolutely incredible life.
Mm-hmm. I have a good life.
What would be, if you had to, if people begged you for advice and said, "Okay, what would be your hot tip for having a really great life, since you apparently have such a one on so many fronts?"
Um, I think it's all about juggling. I think it's about not focusing on any one thing. So a lot of times, a woman will only focus on her children or on her husband or on work or one facet of her life. And people are complex. So my life is all about juggling and making sure that I have time for family and friends and travel and experiences and all of that. So I think my advice was, you can change your life tomorrow. You don't have to stick with what you're doing right now. You could wake up tomorrow and think, hey, I'd like to go visit another country, or I'd like to learn a language and just turn on YouTube. I mean, you can do new things tomorrow. So I think my life is all about evolving and kind of doing everything.
All right, yes, that's excellent.
Yeah, and put aside 10% of every dollar you ever make, and you will be set. And you won't even notice that you're missing the 10%.
Says the woman with a house in Malibu.
Yeah.
Because half the pictures, half the seatbelt selfies are like, and I'm at the beach now.
It's that way. It's right. You can't see. It's right. You're where the beach right are. There. Where the beach is. Right. I'm looking at the ocean and at your face.
So yes, so we'll have advice from Erin. Now, you do not have a website and you do not have a book. Half the people come on the show, and my book is that, but you are on Instagram and you are on Facebook and you have your seatbelt selfies. You are gorgeous. So Facebook and Instagram, where do we find you?
Instagram is Erin Murphy Bewitched, and I don't even know my Facebook. I don't even know. Wait, I could pick up my
Erin Murphy. Are you just Erin Murphy?
Erin Murphy. Wait, I'm looking on my phone to see. I don't know what it is.
Okay, she's not vain. She literally has to look herself up to remember.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. Like I have 2 Facebook pages. I have a private one that is really just friends. You and I are friends on that. So friends and family. I have that one, and then I do have a public one, and I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not a self-promoter. I don't know. I guess if you go on Facebook, I just pulled up Facebook and entered Erin Murphy, and I did not come up. Someone else. Like it says Bewitched.
Which is even funnier.
I think it's just Erin Murphy. I don't know if you can see that.
I think you are. I think you just go on Facebook and search Erin Murphy, or go to the Instagram. But indeed, this is the woman to call if you want financial advice, child rearing advice, what to do with your alpaca, how to get on the red carpet in 20 minutes or less with straw in your hair. This is the woman to call. Absolutely, so much fun to talk to you as always, and I will see you. What are you doing both Friday and Saturday?
I do Friday and Saturday. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I will see you like this Friday at 4:00. I have bonnets. I have aprons. I'm bringing aprons into this cooking thing.
It's so funny because some people at the show I just did, people bring a lot of stuff and they have banners. I have my little stack of photos and a pack of Sharpies. I walk in with nothing.
I got stuff. I got the hats, I think, but I love it. I got the phonics. I've been doing the cooking videos on YouTube and stuff. So I have gear, I have goodies and everything. But we will see you there. We will hang out. It will be tons of fun. Thank you so much for coming on. Always a delight. Everybody go to the Instagram, check her out. And that's Erin Murphy, and I'm Allison Arngrim. This is the Allison Arngrim Show. I found my way home.